Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Knight of the Rose from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Knight of the Rose, Chevalier de la Rose. The Order of the Knights and Ladies of the Rose, Chevaliers et Chevalières de la Rose, was an order of adoptive or androgynous masonry invented in France toward the close of the 18th century. Monsieur de Chaumont, the Masonic secretary of the Duc de Chartres, was its author. The provincial seat of the order was at Paris. The hall of meeting was called the Temple of Love. It was ornamented with garlands of flowers and hung round with escutcheons on which were painted various devices and emblems of gallantry. There were two presiding officers, a male and female, who were styled the Hierophant and Knight, the High Priestess. The former initiated men and the latter women. In the initiations, the Hierophant was assisted by a conductor or deacon called Sentiment, and the High Priestess by a conductress or deaconess called Discretion. The members received the title of knights and nymphs. The knights wore a crown of myrtle, the nymphs a crown of roses. The Hierophant and High Priestess wore in addition a rose-colored scarf on which were embroidered two doves within a wreath of myrtle. During the time of initiation, the hall was lit with a single dull taper, but afterward it was brilliantly illuminated by numerous wax candles. When a candidate was to be initiated, he or she was taken in charge, according to the sex, by the conductor or conductress divested of all weapons, jewels, or money, hoodwinked, loaded with chains, and in this condition conducted to the door of the Temple of Love, where admission was demanded by 2 knocks. Brother Sentiment then introduced the candidate by order of the Hierophant or High Priestess, and he or she was asked his or her name, country, condition of life, and lastly, what he or she was seeking. To this the answer was happiness. The next question proposed was, what is your age? The candidate, if a male, replied, the age to love. If a female, the age to please and to love. The candidates were then interrogated concerning their private opinions and conduct in relation to matters of gallantry. The chains were then taken from them, and they were invested with garlands of flowers which were called the chains of love. In this condition, they were made to traverse the apartment from one extremity to another, and then back in a contrary direction, over a path inscribed with love knots. The following obligation was then administered: I promise and swear by the Grand Master of the universe never to reveal the secrets of the Order of the Rose, and should I fail in this my vow, may the mysteries I shall receive add nothing to my pleasures, and instead of the roses of happiness may I find nothing but the thorns of repentance. The candidates were then conducted to the mysterious groves in the neighborhood of the Temple of Love, where the knights received a crown of myrtle and the nymphs a simple rose. During this time, a soft, melodious march was played by the orchestra. After this, the candidates were conducted to the altar of mystery, placed at the foot of the Hierophant's throne, and there incense was offered up to Venus and her son. If it was a knight who had been initiated, he now exchanged his crown of myrtle for the rose of the last initiated nymph. And if a nymph, she exchanged her rose for the myrtle crown of Brother Sentiment. The Hierophant now read a copy of verses in honor of the God of Mystery, and the bandage was at length taken from the eyes of the candidate. Delicious music and brilliant lights now added to the charms of this enchanting scene, in the midst of which the Hierophant communicated to the candidate the modes of recognition peculiar to the order. The order had but a brief existence. In 1784, F.B. von Grossing invented in Germany an order bearing a similar name, but its duration was as ephemeral as that of the French one. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.